Hello and welcome to this Qualitative 2013 discussion with Jeffrey Hunter. Jeffrey, I'm very pleased that you could join me. Would you first of all like to give a brief introduction to yourself?
Jeffrey Hunter, let's see, semi-retired market researcher. I worked at a major corporation in the U.S. for about 25 years. I retired a year ago. Do a little bit of consulting and writing and research.
It's my understanding that you have a more quant background than qual. So I'd quite like to know what your approach is going to be at this event in Valencia.
I think that's a great question. I'm seeing increasing numbers of applications in which different kinds of data are being merged together to provide insights and solutions to different business issues. You can think of it to a certain degree as maybe a big data application, although that's not the way that I am approaching it here. I think it's interesting how the different data sources can be brought together and integrated, whether that be formally or informally. And I'm just interested in that topic. I'm kind of data agnostic and focused, if you will, on the business model and the business issues. And I'm pretty democratic in terms of bringing together the different data sources. And I'm very interested in seeing papers at this conference and at other conferences and in the literature that also have that kind of approach, if you will, to pragmatic business problem solving.
Do you see qual now that is something which you have to put with quant? Is it kind of all part of the same package?
I'm going to answer that two different ways, one of which is from the senior business manager's position, looking at it through their eyes. I think that they have never made the distinctions that market researchers make between qual and quant and point of sales data and so on and so forth. They're much more holistic about how they view information, and their litmus test for good versus bad information is very different. They're largely just concerned about two things, I think. One, does it make me think about my business differently? And then number two, has it led to positive business outcomes? And so they're much more holistic and much more pragmatic about that. So as a consequence of that, I see what I would describe as a blurring of the lines between the various kinds of data sources. And I'm seeing that now in terms of the kinds of agencies and the kinds of solutions that they're bringing to the marketplace.
Okay, and before you mentioned kind of these new methodologies that are coming out and how they are kind of changing the game. I was just wondering if you could tell me what methodologies in particular that might have caught your eye that are kind of exciting you in the qual space right now.
Yeah, some of these have been around for a little bit. I think they're still gaining traction, but I like market research online communities a great deal. I like netnography a great deal. Any kind of web harvesting. You get into some of the latter things here, netnography and web harvesting. I think that we're still working out some of the bugs in terms of how those technologies ought to work and what to do with the data as it comes to us, and then how do we integrate that all together and once again apply it to whatever the business challenge happens to be. But I think they're just really interesting, and I think it is just now that you're starting to see good case studies in which people have been able to kind of work through the mechanical challenges and bring the promise of that information, if you will, to fruition.
Now, there's a lot of methodologies out there, but maybe we need to kind of focus on learning them, the methodologies that are already there, before kind of going on to create more and kind of learn what we've got first. Where would you stand on that?
Let's see. That's a hard place to stand, actually. Mostly because, first of all, I think that we're still very much in reaction mode, and there will be a new technology or a new information source. Some senior executive will hear something about big data, and they will suddenly want to charge down there. And so we're going to go following whether we're comfortable with it or not, and whether we're ready for it or not. So I think it's going to be an ongoing kind of push and shove between feeling comfortable with what we are doing and also trying new things before we're quite ready for them. There's a an analogy that came out of my last place of employment that was kind of like you're building the airplane as you're flying it, and I very often feel that's where we are.
I spoke to Steve Hales earlier this week, and he said that he was very much looking forward to listening to your paper at this event. I was wondering if what papers you're looking forward to seeing, if there's anything in particular presentation-wise or workshop-wise that's going to...
Yeah, there are a few that sound good. I've only seen the papers for a couple of them. Let's see, there is an application that is very much about how you use web-harvested data, which is, from my perspective, very often qualitative in nature. And so what they've done it's basically qualitative data that you have done quantitative analytic things with. And so they harvested a bunch of data, they ran it through a series of statistical algorithms to get some, I thought, interesting insights. So a different way of delivering those insights relative to the way that we would have approached in the past. The algorithms are the same, but the underlying data is different. I think that's a brilliant paper. There are a couple of new product applications also in which they're dealing with qualitative data that's a little bit larger scale, that they're using things online. I think that would be a very good paper also.
Certainly sounds like there's a lot to look forward to. Steve, thank you very much for joining me. And
Julie.
Thank you very much, Jeff.